Philip of Spain received one of the game's most interesting buffs in the April 2021 update, but was it good enough to make Spain good? Let's find out as we go over them in today's Civ overview. But before continuing, I just want to give a big shout out to all the people who supported me so far this year. I really wanted to hit 1K subs by the end of 2023, and we didn't quite get there, but we got very close. And I appreciate all the feedback and comments that I got on this series and all of my other series. The very first thing you should do with Spain is turn on the continent's lids, because everything is tied to being on a different continent from your capital. Your Civ ability, Treasure Fleet, gives you early fleets and armadas, which makes your navy stronger, but that doesn't matter. What really matters is that trade routes gain +3 gold, +2 faith, and +1 production. This makes good trade routes early on, which is what Spain struggles with the most, the early game. But the trade routes are tripled when going to a different continent. That means you get +9 gold, +6 faith, and +3 production on both domestic and international trade routes, and that's amazing. It's super good to slingshot you forward through the game, which is what you need. Philip's ability El Escorial gives your Inquisitors more heresy charges, and you get +5 combat strength versus Civ of other religions, making you a really strong defender of the faith Civ, kind of the opposite of Byzantium under Basil. And this is okay, the heresy charges are interesting, but the combat strength is what really shines here. Next is the mission, your unique improvement. If terrorist farms didn't exist, these would be the best unique improvements in the game. They come at education, which is really deep on the tree, but you get +2 faith baseline, and that's not exciting. But you get an extra 2 faith, 1 food, and 1 production if you're on a different continent. Not only this, but you get +1 science for each adjacent holy site and campus, and more science when you finish the civic tree and get to cultural heritage. You get +2 loyalty if you're next to the city center. And this is a lot of yields on one improvement. They really buffed it to the moon. But you do have to be mindful of where you're placing it. Finally, Spain gets the Conquistador, a musketman replacement that costs a bit more to produce, but you get 10 combat strength when escorting a religious unit, and you auto-convert captured cities to your religion if you capture them with a Conquistador or with a Conquistador next to the city. This is absolutely amazing for a good religious game. It helps you swing through your religion into like tons of followers around the world without having to spend your missionary or apostle charges. So as you can see, all of the bonuses are about getting a religion or being on 2 continents to get more faith to fuel that religion. This means that you have to dedicate a lot of time early to get a religion, but you have 0 bonuses to getting that profit, and this used to be Spain's downfall. You needed a religion, but you had no early bonuses to get that religion, and you were too slow to use the religion once you did get it. But with your new crazy good trade routes, you were able to quickly get your holy sites up because of all your production, especially if you have a continent split nearby. If you don't have a continent split, which is a little rare because you have a bias towards geothermal fissures, I would suggest you just re-roll the game. You're playing a pretty vanilla Civ with no real bonuses at that point, and I did play about 5 Spain games and got 2 no continent split games when I was testing for this. Getting a good religion is really important for Spain because it's so easy to spread that religion around. You want to lean into your military early on and go economic later. Work ethic is always good to help produce things. Then I would go for cross-cultural dialogue for science or tithe for gold. I find that science is important to help you dominate and then transition later. You are really easily able to spread your religion, that you'll be able to get lots of science from it. I think Defender of the Faith is also really great with Spain. You convert cities behind your front line really easily, and if you're fighting next to a city following your religion against a city of a different religion, you get +5 more combat strength, giving you a total of +15. Spain's strength is obviously the religious game. You get tons of faith if you have a continent split. You will easily win religious fights because of your combat strength. 8 out of 10, but you are incentive to conquer cities, which does sort of work against the religious victory. You also don't get bonuses to your profit, so you really have to dedicate time to it, and you need that continent split. Domination is next. Again, tons of faith, tons of combat strength, and tons of yields on your trade routes, even domestic trade routes, which will help you utilize the Grand Master's Chapel very well. 8 out of 10. Science and culture are equal in my opinion. It really depends on the religion that you build. Did you get a sciencey Jesuit education religion? Or did you go for a cultural religion? Make sure you conquer a bit your nearest neighbor, spread your religion around, and benefit from your yields to get your victory of your choice. 6 out of 10. Last as always is diplomacy. They really didn't work very hard on this victory condition, I think. I wish they would just bring back Civ Revolution's economic victory. It would be more interesting than this diplomacy victory. You get gold with tithe, and that helps. You get production on your trade routes, but it's not enough. There's no reason to do this victory. 4 out of 10. Overall, Phillip is a B+ Civ or an A Civ. He is swingy though. If you have a continent split, you're in for a ride. If you don't have a continent split, I really suggest re-rolling until you get one. I don't suggest that very often with many civs, but Spain truly needs that continent split to survive. Let me know what you think about Phillip in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.